is Jasmine, and I am super excited to have you with me today and along this journey where I'm going to be basically just trying to be myself as I make these videos. It took me a really long time to figure out what kind of content should I make. Should I add on to what's already out there, or should I try to be original? And so with this video, I just wanted to make it basic, simple, a get to know me type of video, because I am brand new to YouTube. I've been sitting on this idea to make a channel forever. Like, it's been years, and I'm finally challenging myself to do it, and whatever happens, happens. And I'm just here for the ride. So I really think that good things are going to come out of it, and I have no expectations, no pressure. I say this now very hesitantly, but you know, it's what you make of it. So I just really hope I can offer some guidance, advice, support, whatever, to this channel for who wants to watch my videos. So I guess first things first, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Jasmine, and I am 27 years old. I currently live in Texas, and I used to be a military kid. So whenever people ask me, hey, where are you from originally? I'm like, well, technically I'm from everywhere, but I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas. So it kind of throws people for a loop whenever I have to say, well, technically. But yeah, so I was a military kid for like 21 years, I'd say, since I was born, because my dad, he served in the Air Force, and we got to go to different places. It was amazing. But at that time, being a kid, I'm like, why do we have to move so much? I really did not look forward to it at all. But it's funny how when you get older and everything comes full circle, it's like, dang, not many people get a chance to say that they did that at my age. And so as I've gotten older, I've become more grateful of the experiences I did have, and see how it played a role in how I am today, and more about that later. I'd love to go into why we've become who we've become, and what conditioned us, and what contributes to how we behave and act and feel about certain things. Like, that's one piece of the puzzle that I'd love to bring here. So yeah, I mean, I was always the new kid in school, so that was fun. Not really, but it is what it is. And honestly, I was able to meet so many different people from different walks of life, and that really aided in where I ended up just a few years ago, as far as what do I want to do with my life, who do I want to serve. I'm very service oriented and just want the best for everyone. And I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but that's kind of where I started. And then I went to high school, and then I went to college. At that time, I wanted to go to an art institute. And I was going to say, another thing about me is I'm very artistic, very creative, but I don't often say that because I feel like I doubt myself a lot when it comes to my abilities in that realm. For some reason, I think it's because school was always first, school was always the ticket out, and I just put so much pressure on myself to excel in that versus my natural abilities. And there are times where I wish I could have gone back in time and did things a little differently. But at the same time, I love those kind of movies, by the way, like time travel, and if you made this decision at that time, what would your life look like now, type of thing. And I just think those are the trippiest and mind-blowing works of art that you could see and watch. But it really says something about life and how we end up where we end up and the choices that we make. And even though you may regret a few here and there, it all worked together anyways to get you to where you're at now and where you're gonna go, you know? So long story short, I'm a little long-winded. That's another thing about me, so bear with me. But I think bringing it all back together, I really wanted to go to the Art Institute, but I decided to go to Texas State, and honestly, that was probably the best decision at that time, even though it didn't look like it, because boy, what I experienced at Texas State is probably going to be for another video because I want to keep this short, but I'd love to dive into it. What you can learn when you go to a university or a college, or even a community college, like what have you. I know a lot of people debate if they should take the college route, if it's even worth the time, and I'm a firm believer in what works for you is what works for you. Higher education is not for everybody. Even the term higher education is not inclusive at all of a lot of people. But I believe that it's whatever you make of it. And at that time, the whole way through, I kind of was back and forth, and I was like, is this even worth my time? I'm not even doing what it is that I went to school for. Fast forward, obviously, looking back, during that time, I'm like, is this gonna be useful? Needless to say, I was able to meet people, I was able to have interactions and experiences. I got to witness what other people went through at that time. I was very involved in social justice, advocacy, student affairs, like all the whole 9 yards. And I got to live it in real life, what was happening in society, in the world at large, on a micro scale. But I would not have taken anything back. I got to do events and show up for others, be there for other people. It was amazing. But long story short, so my mic cut out when I was talking, so we're gonna try this again. And this was halfway through the video. I was like, no, oh no, I'm gonna have to remember everything I said. But where I last left off was my whole experiences in college. I wouldn't have taken it back because it all came together for my greatest good. I was able to learn so much about how to have those difficult conversations with people, with being there for those who needed somebody the most, for witnessing the true grit and resilience of those who are underserved and who are underrepresented in higher education and the world at large. Those who are impacted by the criminal justice system. Forgot to mention, I went to school and I studied criminal justice with a minor in forensic psychology. After doing that for a few years and also doing radio stuff and exploring different niches and areas of expertise, just doing the whole thing, just like different things really. I was trying to get a feel of what it is I want to do, and honestly I wanted to merge everything, my artistic side with my criminal justice side. And I happen to be a Libra, so that whole balancing act is no joke. It's always happening with everything. And I can be indecisive a lot. And I'm like, okay, everything is happening for a reason, but what are those reasons? And I contemplate and ruminate over it whenever the time comes. I could be applying this, or I could be using that, or I could be teaching or giving advice or shedding some knowledge that I learned, you know, and that's what I'm trying to do now. Shoot, it took me the whole 4 years I went to school, plus a year and a half after doing an externship for the Office of Student Diversity and Inclusion at Texas State. They were all about retention for students of color, LGBTQIA+, immigrant students, veteran students, everything like that. They were there and they were shoulder to lean on, and I got to meet some amazing people that were involved in keeping those students and showing them that they can do what it is they set their mind to and do it well and really make a statement for themselves, not for other people, but to prove to themselves that they could do it despite whatever anybody else said. So after that, I tried to go back for my master's because that's what everybody was saying for me, and saw in me that I had the potential to do it. And you know what? I followed in that footsteps. I tried to do it, but it wasn't what was in my heart. And it took a lot for me to realize that, because when you're going through stuff and you don't know which way to go, it's very easy to get wrapped up in what other people suggest or other people see in you, because you can't see it for yourself, you know? And they may be true, they may be right to a certain extent, but it comes down to whatever you believe is true. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. If you believe you can't do it, you can't. And unfortunately, that was my situation that I had. I doubted myself from the very beginning, and fast forward 2 breaks later, I'm still on my 2nd break. But it was all worth it, because when you go to grad school, I'm sure some of you know, it's a whole nother ball game, and it really forces you to go deeper into yourself, aside from what you're learning and going to school for. It really, on an internal level, makes you analyze yourself even more than you've ever done in any type of institutional learning. You learn so much about yourself. And I was also going through the dark night of the soul. If y'all are into astrology, I am also into astrology. You'll probably see more videos relating to that. But I was going through that at the time, and it was just too much. I burnt out, I needed a mental break, and I did something completely different. I went a whole nother direction, and I started working for a post office out in Wimberley, Texas. That's what I did for the next 2.5, almost 3 years. And I know that it was the best thing for me to be able to detach, release, detox from everything that I went through and just sit with it. Because if I hadn't have done that, I probably would have been somewhere else, you know? And I just wouldn't have been able to go deeper within myself, or just look at myself, sit with myself, if I was still doing what it was that I was doing. And at the time, it didn't look like any of that. It looked like I'm opting out for something that I know I'm not going to be doing for the rest of my life. And what am I doing by doing that? Am I just going to be wasting more of my time, or just going to do it to support myself? And that's not what I truly love to do. I was going back and forth, but I did it. I ended up working and trying to save some money, and I mean, it helped in the long run, but life always loves to throw you curveballs every now and then. It's always going to be that way. And that next pitch threw me for a loop, and I found myself 2.5 years later. This was over the course of, 2020, 2021, a little bit of 2019, but towards the end of 2021, I just knew I had to walk away. Like, it wasn't serving me anymore. I got to meet so many interesting people, those who were older than me, those who were from different backgrounds than me, those who were from more privileged spaces than me, working in a privileged town. It was very interesting. I don't have anything to say badly. Everything had to happen because it had to happen. And I always walked away with something at the end of the day. even though it was tough at some points, and I wanted to just quit way before I did, and just really sticking with it. I knew there was going to be something better. And you hear about the great resignation that has been happening recently within the last year or so, and I became a part of that. I stepped away finally. I made the decision about a month ago without having another job. It actually isn't as scary as I thought it would be, but obviously everybody is in a different place, a different position, a different set of circumstances. So I always want to make that clear, but sometimes you have to take that risk before you know what's going to come out of it. But we will never know until we actually do it, or we do something different. My motto right now going into 2022 is to have different, we must act different. We have to do things we've never done before in order to have things that we've never had before, And I know that's a common saying, but it's so true. And everything that is within us are all the things that we desire outside of us. And that's why every interaction, every experience, every moment that I come across or was placed for me to learn from, I treat it as a gift, and to try to be as present as I can when it happens, because you can very easily miss those signs or those little symbols or those little messages from the universe, from the creator, whatever you believe, that brought us all here. And I think that's where I'm at right now, that energy of wanting to be that teacher, not that student necessarily anymore. I've always seen myself as a life learner and enjoys it, but at the same time, the power that comes with using what you learn is so much greater. Once you get an understanding of it, you want to spread it to other people and see what they think and see if that would help them, or help them see things in a different way without changing who they are, because we are all meant to be who we become and who we strive to be. Nobody should ever try to change you or make you think differently, but I believe it's so beautiful to share and feed off of each other and join the conversation with one another and see how we are different but how we are the same. And I think that's what I want to do with coming on here, bringing myself to get more out there, to really connect on another level. Because I know COVID and the pandemic and just how history has played out, there's always been a disconnect between everyone. We see each other as different. We see each other as, this is how this person's always gonna be. But that's not the case. At least I don't believe. We always have that potential to transform, to change, to evolve, to experience and try different things and be adventurous and spontaneous, everything like that. Everything is always changing. That goes for us as people, that goes for situations and events, that goes for Earth and existence. And just to be able to learn how to roll with the punches and roll with everything always changing, that's where I think a lot of the answers we constantly search for are at. So anyways, long story short, I've already talked for like 25 minutes, but that's how my brain works, and I totally said things differently this time around than what I originally said when my mic went out. on my first video, but this is what was meant to be said, so I look at it that way. And if you're still with me, bless you. No, I'm just kidding. If you're still with me, I greatly appreciate you, your time, your energy, and I hope you found this interesting, fun, inspiring for you to do what it is you want to do. If you want to get out of your shell, if you are that shy, introverted type of person, even if you're the opposite, power to you, okay? But maybe you can help someone who is more like me. I'm very introverted. I can be both at times, but more to myself. But I've always wanted to get more out there, express myself, just being bold and assertive and stating my case and all of those things so that I can contribute and I can present my world, my reality, how I experience life, you know, and hoping that I find people who are like-minded or who aren't, who are all about learning from other people's experiences and stories. That's what I'm about. I love hearing other people, their testimonies, what they've been through, what they're going through currently, how they bounce back, how they give in and fall to the weight of the world. Everything, the whole 9 yards. But it's all about that resilience. It's all about how you do bounce back. And especially when everything seems like it's coming to an end, that your life is flashing you by, or you regret not doing what it is that you really wanted to do. All of those things, I would love to be that person to say it's never too late, you're never too old, you're never too young, you're never too inexperienced. It's all what you make of it. And we are here as souls having a human experience. If you've heard of that, I firmly believe that is true. And no matter what other people think or say about you or what you should be doing with your life, you ultimately have the power to create your reality, your dream, your vision that you want to bring to the world, to your life, to others' lives. You are a co-creator, the universe, the ultimate creator that created all of us. We are in harmony with whatever that is, and it's all about finding that balance and being appreciative and grateful that we wake up another day and have another opportunity to live life to the fullest and to just make it a better place, you know? If anything you take from what I say in this very first video, just make the world a better place, a more understanding reality, and just, you know, have peace with yourself, love yourself. And I think starting there, we can make a whole new world, a whole new existence that much brighter. So without further ado, I will end that there, and I cannot wait to bring you more content like this where we explore deeper meanings behind life, why we're here, the law of attraction, spirituality, astrology, numerology, all of that fun stuff. Oh, I cannot wait to get into that. And hopefully it won't look all over the place, but hey, if it does, that's just me. That's how we roll right here. So if you're into that, if you are the type of person that loves to explore different things, different aspects, different perspectives, different angles to life, then you've come to the right spot. And I hope eventually I can get other people on here, special guests, explore others' experiences in that way, not just mine, because I don't know, it's always weird talking about yourself, but it's also good because other people can find a little bit of themselves in you. We're all mirrors, and what you see in other people, what you admire in other people and look up to, you already have in you. It just wants to come out, and you just got to give it a chance to do that. Just believe in yourself, and anything is possible when you do. And I have faith in you. I think You can do amazing things. You already are doing amazing things, by the way. And if you needed to hear this, I hope it brings you reassurance and confidence that you can go out there and do it for yourself, for loved ones, for whatever you hold valuable to you. And don't sit back, don't wait on it, don't sleep on yourself anymore. This is a message to myself too, because we never know when that day comes for us. And life is too short. I think we've all gotten a taste of how things can just go at any minute. And to really be there for yourself, first and foremost, but also try to be there for others who may not have a lot of time left on this earth, or who are really struggling right now and just want somebody to talk to. Be there for them. Obviously, set those boundaries and make sure you protect your energy, but spread that love that you've been wanting to receive yourself. And I think that will make everyone feel just that much better. So without further ado, I'll leave it there. I'm sending lots of love to you. I hope you have an amazing day, and thanks for sticking with me to the very end with my long-winded self. And I look forward to seeing you, talking to you as I go along this journey, and to connect with you as we both go along our own journeys. So without further ado, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Until then, stay safe and take care. All right. Peace.